Prashant Jain is often referred as the Donald Bradman of the mutual fund industry. Yes, we are referring to the iconic fund manager of the HDFC Mutual Fund for well over 2 decades, who recently retired. That's the man we're going to kind of talk about today in our episode. Prashant Jain has over the last 2 decades been an iconic fund manager who is widely respected, followed, and even feared by fund managers across the industry. His peers, while they were envious of his track record, were also respectful of what he had achieved. Just to put things in perspective, Prashant Jain was a fund manager in a fund that was launched by a fund house which was called 20th Century Finance, which was then acquired by ITC Classic Mutual Fund, which was then acquired by Zurich India Mutual Fund, and subsequently acquired by the HDFC Mutual Fund. So across these 4 different fund houses, the only constant was Prashant Jain, who was continuing to manage the fund, delivering iconic returns. One of those people with a track record of managing one scheme for over 25 years. Very, very rare in these days of quick changes, such a long tenure. Plus, he also had the distinction of being the first fund manager to manage asset size above 1 lakh crores. That's a huge amount. But as a fund manager, he wasn't flamboyant. He was extremely down to earth, extremely sober, and has been extremely smart and quick in observing trends. Way back in 1999, when there was a frenzy going around on IT stocks, and just before the dot-com bubble burst, Prashant Jain smartly stayed away from the IT stocks and thereby prevented his portfolio from going down when the dot-com burst happened. Very, very smart. And he repeated it in the year 2008 when similar action happened in infra and reality stocks as well. So he's been somebody who's been reasonably smart in kind of observing trends, but a very, very quiet and a gentle human being. Always believing in the value approach. He rarely kind of took his eye away from the valuation and always pursued a value approach to investing. Although some of the growth stocks also enriched his portfolio. There were, of course, naysayers in an industry like cricket. Fund management is also followed by millions of investors who constantly are casting their view and judgment on how the fund manager is. It's a very, very tough task to go out there and perform with consistency. And there, Prashant Jain was no less than the Sachin Tendulkar. Of course, there were periods when Prashant Jain's funds underperformed. Even in the late 2016 to 2018-19, the schemes that he was managing was going through its fair challenges, primarily because he had a conviction on a certain amount of stocks, but the market took time to realize that. And that sometimes people held against Prashant Jain, that he got in a little early into some of those trends. Of course, when they came good, they gave massive returns, but he did sit some time when things didn't happen at all. So there was some time, he was an early mover, so that came with a little bit of challenges on his own. Apart from that, if somebody had invested at the HDFC Balanced Advantage Fund at its inception, say ₹1 lakh, he is now sitting on something in the region of about 1.16 crores of money. That's a huge, almost 18% per annum compounded return over this massive 28, 29 years of its existence. Same is the case if somebody had done a simple SIP of 1,000 rupees, not more, just 1,000 rupees over these years, he would again be sitting at a similar number in terms of something of the region of about 1.13 crores or thereabouts. So massive value creation on a massive fund That's what Prashant Jain's legacy is all about. I am sure Prashant Jain will be long remembered for his consistent, long duration fund performance while being a very simple and humble human being. So much for Prashant Jain. We love you, Prashant, and look forward to a great post-fund management era at HDFC.